Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Fantasy Boom YouTube channel. As of today's video, this is a brand new channel, so please hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up while you're at it. Now, why is this channel different than all of the other DFS related YouTube channels out there? Well, we do things a little bit different here. These other channels are so focused on Draft Kings, FanDuel, maybe even a little bit of fantasy draft sites where people are getting frustrated and losing a lot of money. We're focusing on two platforms here where you have an actual opportunity, a fair opportunity to build your bankroll. Now, these are not easy sites by any means, but the positive thing about them is you're pretty much able to avoid the sharks and bet on yourself and bet on your own knowledge and your own predictions of how you think stuff will shake out. Now, the two platforms we're going to be focusing on here on the channel are Predict Picks, and we have a separate video for that. That's a newer platform. It's a lot of fun. I'm not even going to explain it yet. Just check out the video. You guys are going to love Predict Picks. And then there's Draft. You may already be familiar with Draft. If you want to get involved with these platforms, in the description of this video, just click and you can go straight to the Predict Picks website and use the promo code thatfantasyboom and get an opportunity, a free roll for $25. If you want to check out Draft, click the link in the description here, or you can go to playdraft.com/BQ and get a free $3 entry. So let's talk about Draft. What makes Draft a lot of fun and very special is that it's a snake draft format. It's very different than DraftKings or FanDuel or Fantasy Draft. It's like if you're playing with your buddies on ESPN or Yahoo. You're just doing a snake draft and you do it daily. I like to play head-to-head. I like the odds a lot better doing that. Yes, it's a little bit less money if you win or lose, whatever, but I'm more comfortable with a head-to-head than I am doing a three-person draft or six-person draft. There's about 30 seconds between picks. Now, you can preload your picks. That way, when a draft fills up, it happens automatically. I don't really like to do that. I like to be there for the actual draft because I have one particular strategy, which is not rocket science by any means, that I want to use when I'm doing the draft. So as you can see here, I'm an NBA guy. There's 3-person draft, 6-person draft, 10-person draft. Again, I like to play head-to-head. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do a live draft here on the channel on the video at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. Now, I do my own predictions. I do not play DFS every single day because my doing this, my own predictions, actually takes me several hours to do, and it just depends on my own personal schedule. But I usually don't play DFS blindly. I like to do my predictions. So here's just an example of what I do. Here's James Harden, for instance. I've got his offensive numbers in here. I've got the team's defensive numbers in here, and the minutes that he pretty much averages. Now, these numbers right here, a little hard to explain at the moment, but it has to do with let's say the Rockets usually play a game and the total is 220. The rest of the league is playing at 211 or something like that, and there's a 9-point difference. That's usually what this number is here, and that's obviously not in line with what I'm saying right now. But I have a formula in here that basically helps project minutes, and that's what that's for. So this number right here, he's initially projected at 49.9. And when you go to the normal websites and they say, hey, this is this player's projection, that's what it is here, just their offensive numbers versus the team's defensive numbers. These defensive numbers that I'm using currently are based off their last 10 games because at this point of the season, they're playing very different than they have been all season, most of the teams. So a lot of formulas here, so I'm not going to get into quite all that. Right here, this is going to be, I believe they're on the road today. I don't remember off bat. This is Chris Paul is not playing tonight. So James Harden has played 454 minutes on the road with Chris Paul this year, scoring 1.37 fantasy points per minute. He's played 828 without him, and you can see there's a boost to 1.68 per minute. So I do account for when a player is injured. Matchup strength and opponent strength, what I've got going on here is this is pretty much on a scale from 0 to 1, basically. So on a scale from 0 to 10, the current matchup, he gets a 7. Against the rest of the league, he's an 8.5. So whoever's playing tonight, I don't remember offhand, I think it's Washington, guards his position a little bit better than the rest of the league as far as his skill set. Not fantasy points in general, but his particular skill set. This is the spread and projected total. And that, along with the formula I have, is going to change the player's minutes up or down based on the average game that they play, if that makes sense. So James Harden, and again, I think these are road numbers. Don't quote me on that. 56.9 on the road, 54.9 at home. There are adjustments I have to the formula based on where the current game is, and the current location. He's played 35 games, so I think 35 on the road, 33 at home. Averages 35 minutes at home and on the road, so they're both different. They're both the same. As you can see, someone like Brad Beal here, 35 minutes at that location, 37 away, and that just changes the formula a little bit. And I project, FanDuel, Draft Kings Fantasy Draft, everything. Take it all the way down. And this number right here has to do with predict picks, so we're not going to focus on that right now. But the final number I have for James Harden, after all the formula and the adjustment to his minutes, so we're going to check out the minutes real quick. Again, he averages, 35.5. So my projection here is that he's going to play 33 minutes tonight. So. And somehow get 59 fantasy points. So Chris Paul's not playing tonight, remember, and Harden can do a lot of damage without him. And they're playing Washington, and they can't guard him. So right here I have this is like a player accuracy number. I have player strength here, but I actually need to change that to player accuracy. The higher the number is, so who can use for example here, DeMar DeRozan. That means that his matchup, he's better than the average shooting guard they play against. That's a really juicy matchup for him. Someone like James Harden, remember I showed you that number earlier that they actually guard him better than the rest of the league slightly, so he's got a negative number. When I've got a player that's close to 0, and I guess the closest one to 0 here is Brad Beal, that basically means I really feel confident that it's going to be an accurate projection because it's everything lines up perfect. His numbers compared to the rest of the league, compared to his opponent, they add up real well. With Harden, with the negative number, it's saying he might not be quite as good, but -1 really isn't a big deal. With DeRozan, that's saying, he has an opportunity to have a bigger game, but if he puts up his same numbers, his value could drop. But he has an opportunity to be a lot better. So I went ahead and pasted all this here already, and this is my draft order. I took the projection I had. I actually have LeBron. I know seems very high, but I've actually got LeBron at 65. Harden, remember I made an adjustment. He's actually 59, but it's pretty close to 60. I got Westbrook 51. Now here, remember I've got the accuracy. LeBron, that's really close to 0, so that really tells me I really think he's going to have a good game tonight. And then I make a few adjustments here and there. So where's a good example? Like Rudy Gobert here, I have him at 33, Jokic at 34, but I put Rudy ahead of him in my draft order just because here you see the 0, Jokic with the -6, meaning he really doesn't have a good matchup. Now draft has him projected pretty high tonight, so we're going to see who's right between me and them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a head-to-head draft. I just threw $10 in here right now, so now I've already got my guys entered, and the cool thing is when you enter the draft, you really don't have to wait very long. Your opponent usually shows up fairly quickly. So I guess we'll sit here and wait for him, but yeah, so I'm basically doing this with every platform. It's not a good one to show you because there's some injuries. But I have numbers that pop up for Draft Kings and FanDuel, and it's DraftKings / Fantasy Draft because the scoring system is the same. And so when I do play those platforms, I still use these, but I really am comfortable with Draft. And then, of course, Predict Picks, like I said. And when I do the Predict Picks projections, for instance, his projection is 53. I have him projected at 59. So that's kind of how that works. But watch our other Predict Picks video, and you're going to learn exactly what I'm talking about. Gosh, usually your opponent hops in very, very quick here. So my apologies. That's kind of funny. There we go. So I've got my opponent. The draft is going to start in 55 seconds. So we've got to waste a little bit of time here. My fault. Usually it happens very, very quickly. So you can see here Oladipo tonight with the big negative number. I don't have him looking too good. Let's look at the centers. Now Steven Adams has a 4. So that means he could have a pretty good game against Golden State. But again, I try to focus on the zeros. Like DeAndre Jordan, I have him stinking it up tonight in his matchup against I think it's San Antonio. Now I kind of like these because that's more like my cash game. Like if you're playing cash, I'm like, okay, this is accurate. Here they have a higher ceiling, so that might be like my GPP plays, for instance. All right, 4 seconds to go. All right, here we go. They got the first pick. They went Westbrook. That's fine with me. I like LeBron better today. I got back-to-back picks. So I'm taking Harden. As you can see, it's 30 seconds between picks. Fortunately, this guy's online, so he's making them pretty quick. He went with Giannis. Now, I had Giannis over Simmons today, but I liked Simmons' matchup with Brooklyn a little bit better. So I moved Simmons ahead of him, and that's who I'm picking here. Now, he picked his center already, and this is the strategy I'm talking about. I don't want to waste a pick on a center right now because he can't pick another center. So I want to make sure once that center is picked, I want to make sure the guards and forwards are good to go. This is kind of scary. I've got Paul George over Kevin Durant. I don't think I can pull the trigger on that, though. I'm going to go with Durant. And sometimes you just got to go with your gut. I should have moved Durant ahead of him earlier, but I just didn't have the balls for it. Okay, so he ended up going with Paul George. We'll see what happens there. Last pick, I got Howard as my number 1. All right, so projection-wise, and that's based off Draft's actual projections. He's at 242. I'm at 236, so pretty similar. However, I'm pretty comfortable with my selections as long as Kevin Durant plays, which he's expected to. And hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. Like I said, I actually had Paul George over Durant tonight. But I think Durant against Westbrook, I think he's going to kick some butt. So, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit subscribe, like, and check out the links in the description. And I'm going to be doing videos for draft as much as I possibly can. I can't do them every day, but I'm going to do my absolute best. And I'll let you know what my orders are. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.